Hey guys, what's up? Your boy's back. I'm actually here within a week of doing another video. Last time I got two in a row last time. Hopefully we'll go for three. No, let's not say hopefully. We're gonna do three in a row. And then we're gonna do four in a row. And then you know what? Five in a row. Because I'm gonna be back with weekly reviews of Undead Unluck. I know I said life can get in the way, but sometimes you just gotta make time, you know what I mean? You can't make excuses. If you wanna do something, just start doing it. Even if you're tired and struggling, bro, you just gotta start moving on, keep pushing. Okay, we're actually gonna do a double chapter review this time because the video I put out last time, the Mihawk one, I actually recorded last week when chapter 191 came out. I was just gonna review chapter 192, but when I actually read chapter 191, I had to review it because Andy goes off insane in this one. The soul power. Brooks got competition for the Soul King title because the way he's manipulating his soul and doing all this nonsense right now, yeah, Andy's looking like the real Soul King here. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll start off on the first page of this chapter. There's a cover for this chapter, a nice coloured cover, and it's got all the crew members, all the union members, all the allies we've gotten along the way, and you see Apocalypse is there. So you know what, Apocalypse, he's trying to act like he's against the guys, but we know he loves the Union really. He loves the Jewies and all that. Yeah, it's a nice cool color spread. Yeah, even got a Clothy's there. Clothy, he's got a little mouth on near Andy's junk. Yeah, it's a cool little color spread to start the chapter off. Like I said in my I love Undead Unluck video, man, I just love the art in this show. It's just really nice. I don't know how to explain it really. I need to work on my reviewing skills, but I don't know how to explain it. I just like the art style. Okay, so yeah, the chapter opens up with the sun, and he's still on there, just taking the heat. We get a little insight into the behind the scenes of the quest. So like before it's actually the quest actually chosen. Apocalypse is talking to the control room members, and yeah, so they like kind of like do like decide which Uma is about to participate in which quest and stuff, which is pretty cool to see the behind the scenes on that. Yeah, so we find out that Fuko and the lot have racked up enough penalties that there's no cap on the amount of master rules that can participate in quests anymore. So Apocalypse tells them that there's a minimum of two needed, but God's hoping for a lot more, which is kind of mad. Yeah, even we don't know the rule's name now. Number one, he says that even Sick, who was just number 10, was able to like give him a real run for their money. So even more of them is bound to just mess up the whole union, probably end this loop. But he also does mention a certain someone it'll be more adamant not to let them out. And of course, they're talking about our man Andy, and we see him just come through the crack in the control room. I'm not really sure how he's doing that, if he's just able to do that. But of course, in classic Andy style and kind of Fuko style now as well, he just comes in, you see a union table, you just start blasting, bro. He starts blasting with some soul bullets. And I'm just wondering, is it really every time he's just doing that? He's just coming in, and every time the master rules need to get involved, he's just coming in and starts blasting at and fighting them, just making sure they don't come in. Because even Unchained, not she's not Unchained, she is changed. The rule change says every single time. So is it? So it seems to suggest that yeah, every time Andy's coming in, fighting, murking all these guys, just making sure not too many of them leave. Which is a pretty insane testament to like Andy's power if he's actually just holding back all these rules every single time. And I'm wondering if, to be honest, maybe it's not every time you need a master rule in it because there's all these penalties and they just racked up the penalties to remove the cap. Maybe after a couple penalties, then the master rules start coming in. Because I don't think I think we would have like Juiz would have warned us about warned Fuko about the master rules, but I don't know if Fuko knew about them. I don't think she did. So I guess they just never like. I'm pretty sure they never like really cropped up last time, in the last loop. So yeah, Andy just makes quick work of change. Just does 100 twist vortex, gets her out of there. there's a soul chain that also wraps around her as well. And then this old dude comes in. He seems to be the time rule, which is quite wild. Time's pretty powerful. At the end, I'll probably look over all the names we've got confirmed and see, like, look at the power positioning of all of them. I think he was either five or six, which is pretty insane. How is time only not number one? But yeah, actually, how is time time change is number three. Time is lower than that. Change is kind of like a part of time is a part of change, kind of. We'll get into it more at the end. So the time rule uses a technique called time defense, I guess. And then well, we don't know what rule this one is, but he's kind of like a zombie-looking guy with a cigar. He goes genocide weapons, and he just summons a tank out of nowhere, I guess, and just starts blasting on Andy. Yeah, then the beast rule mentions that with the time rule's ability, his regeneration should be slowed down now. Yeah, but this is the new and improved Andy. It's not just about regeneration now. He's still got his soul power. So yeah, they're all still trapped up in all his chains and whatnot. The time guy's pretty surprised by this. He thought he'd do enough, but you gotta be number one if you want to take out Andy, my boy. But yeah, the number one rule actually does mention that he doesn't need to feel down on himself. Andy's had like 100 million years of practice to be able to pull off something like this. And so I guess he wasn't trapped in the chains. He's just that guy. So he's like, I'll just take him on myself. Before that, he does mention how Andy is able to still be moving. He's turned off his brain. His brain's no longer working, and he's actually just using his soul to move his body. And I guess that's what he was referring to. It took hundreds of millions of years for him to pull off something like that, just to turn off your brain and only use your soul to move your physical body, which is quite insane. He mentioned he's flattered, which I will come back to. I think that gives a hint to what rule he is. And he says in his experience, people like Andy, I guess people that are long lived, don't usually believe in souls, and he wonders who would have caused something like that. And we actually see a little shot of Apocalypse doing a little dot dot dot. So it's obviously because of Dewey's, or maybe even Foucault, the two people that got pretty close to Apocalypse. And like I said, man, Apocalypse, you're not fooling anyone. We know you. You're one of the boys, really. You're trying to act tough, but you one of the boys, really. Yeah, Apocalypse now lets them know there's 1 minute left, but the number one rule creates a soul blade. But also, Andy also knows how to make a soul blade, so it's a soul sword battle. But yeah, and the number one rule says he's gonna try and end this quick now since there's only 1 minute left. He says that because Andy's using his chains to hold back the other guys, he won't have enough power to hold back this attack that he's about to throw at him. And it's a soul beam. It's called Soul Road. But Andy is putting up a fight even with those guys chained up as well. And he makes mention of this, which is a shock to me. He says he's not even his vessel. I just assumed Andy being undead. I thought death would be like the ultimate rule, be the number one rule. But he says he's not his vessel, so yeah, the number one is a different rule. What is stronger than death? What is stronger than time? That's why I love these series. It's like not the just typical answer. It's gonna be what you think. But yeah, he makes mention. Yeah, Andy is the strongest negator in this loop. And to be honest, isn't he usually the strongest negator? Probably her injustice is just pretty broken. I wonder who was the strongest last loop. Was it not Victor? Oh well. So Andy, he lets go of Beast and Language, which we kind of knew would happen because we already seen that they were that was one of the quest neutralization of those two rules. Yeah, the number one rule tells them to hold up, wait a minute, I'll finish this off real quick, and then they can all go. But I guess these rules, they serve themselves only, and they just bounce out of there, bro. Uh, so yeah, he doesn't get to finish off Undead in enough time, and yeah, the gate is closed and the protection is reinstated. So yeah, they missed their chance. It's also said that because Andy was interfering for more than 3 minutes, that violates the rules, and he just gets teleported outside. So I guess maybe that's just what's been happening. Andy, if when the mass rules show up, and when the master rules are gonna be selected, Andy shows up, says, "Nah, bro, only one or maybe two of you can come leave," and yeah, he's just been helping everyone out from behind the scenes like that, which is pretty sick, wicked sick of Andy. And we get a little bit of insight into Andy's intentions there. It turns out he was always gonna let those two go from the start. The reason why? It discussed the first soul, but I fucking love it. He just trusts Fuko in that much. He thinks that trust is gross. But, that's what I love about the series. I love the close connections with the characters. Yeah, because of course Fuko's gonna do the thing, bro. She's going to beat these. What was it? Beast and Language? They ain't no match for the Union, led by Fuko. But yeah, this is where the chapter ends off with a panel of Fuko and the new reincarnated Louise, I think her name was. Yeah, they're on their way to the next mission. Now, before I get into the next chapter, I just wanted to talk over these master rules a little bit, trying to dissect and find out which one's what rule. So we already know number 3 is changed, number 10 is sick, number actually, yeah, I'm looking at a couple panels right now. Yeah, number 7 is actually time. Language looks to be number 8. And where is Beast? Where is Beast? Beast is number 9. Okay, so yeah, that kind of makes sense. Number 9 and 8, the next weakest rules have just been released, so they're not gonna get mollywopped and smashed too bad. They should be able to handle these two. Number 10, they did need Andy's help, but now they know about the master rules, and I think they'll be more prepared. And I think Fuko maybe she'll remember like what numbers they were, when she like landed in. So hopefully she'll be more prepared this time for the master rules. Now I'm gonna try and hazard a guess as to who the other rules are. Now number 6 is the one that summoned the tank. He looks like a rotting zombie and whatnot. I actually think he might be deaf, or it's either deaf or war because he summoned a tank and he looks like he's dying. So I think he might be deaf. There's another one who's in armor. That's number 5. He may be. I have no idea. I can't really tell just off his design. I was gonna say honor, but is honor a rule? Well, anything can be a rule, I guess. Chivalry maybe. Oh, maybe there's a negator unchivalry. Any kind acts gets unreversed or something. There's another one. I think that one is number 4. It looks like he has a halo on his head. So maybe direction. It kind of looks like a wheel, to be honest, like a steering wheel. So maybe he's the rule direction. Um, and then the final one, she looks like a nun praying. Maybe because I was even gonna say who I call direction was maybe religion. Maybe she's the rule religion. Uh, she's number 2, so that will be pretty powerful. Like pretty powerful rule religion. And number 1, who could number 1 be? I am not sure, but I think because I don't know. He said he was flattered when Andy believed in souls, so maybe he is the rule soul, or maybe the rule supernatural, or something like that. Yeah, so that's just my guess on what those rules could be. Well, they could be wrong, could be right. I think it does make sense. Number 6 is a death or war, but if death isn't a part of these rules, maybe it's even because undead is kind of the one negator that like survives through every loop. I think there must have only been one undead, so maybe even the death rule is like above these master rules, like a hidden rule. Like, yeah, because can God die as well? Can the God figure that they're trying to kill him? So even that rule applies to him. So Hmm. Yeah, the whole death rule. It's kind of a weird one. I wonder what it's gonna turn out to be if number 6 really is death, but I could see him being war instead. So Yeah, like that'll probably be end game story kind of stuff, finding about the death rule. Maybe he's even above God. Like God doesn't even know about him. He's like God and Luna think this is a game between them, but it's actually a game for the death rule, who's even above them, because maybe they can both die. Well, I don't know. Okay, so now we go on to the next chapter, and in this one, it starts off where we left off in the last chapter. It's with Fuko and Julia, formerly known as Juiz, on the Nimbus cloud on their way to Unstoppable. They get to talking about what negated abilities actually are because Julia doesn't actually know what they are, and Fuko never really gave her a rundown. She just kind of yoinked her and left. So Fuko gives a quick rundown about the negated abilities and that they always come with tragedy. She explains how hers killed her parents, and Julia feels for her and tells her that, nah, it wasn't your fault, it's whoever put those negated abilities onto you. And that's kind of the vibe we have throughout the whole series of, yeah, the tragedies aren't your fault, it's literally God's fault. Like, he placed everything on these guys, and it's not like they were picked at random, like, as Foucault alludes to in the next page, because she says she has a feeling she knows why these negate abilities are chosen for each of these individuals. And that's quite interesting. I think she has mentioned that before about these negated abilities being like not as random as initially first thought, and they're actually intentionally placed on certain people. And it'll be interesting to know what she actually believes the reason is behind that. Probably because I don't know. God knows they're really strong or something. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to dive into that in later chapters, I guess. Next, we go on to see Top, and he has a bit of a different look from the last loop. But to be honest, I'm rocking with this look kind of more. He's looking kind of cool. But yeah, he's seen just going throughout this city, I guess, or town. It's a bit smaller than the looks like a town, village, whatever. But he's going through it, and he's stealing people's wallets and stealing their money using his unstoppable ability. So yeah, I think from the previous loop we already knew like Top grew up in a poor area, and like I think running was actually going to be his the way he wanted to break out into the world and start making money. But I guess in this loop he's turned to the life of crime. He doesn't even do sports anymore. We then see Haruka. He seems to be chasing him down. I guess Fuku sent her over there to like try and get a hold of Top, but yeah, and it seems like Top's just always been getting the best of her. We then move on to find out that Top's condition for stopping his unbreakable has actually changed from the previous loop. Before he had to break a bone on his body, but now he seems to be able to stop his unstoppable by just breaking something else. Yeah, and that's quite interesting because we've seen with Billy actually the condition for his ability activating can actually change depending on the circumstances of how your ability manifests. So I guess because Fuko's obviously changed so much in this loop, for some reason, some way, um, Top's ability manifests in a situation where it takes him breaking something else to stop his unstoppable. Now we move on to find out that his mom actually has contracted a contagious illness and just they've been run out of the city basically. So that is why Top is out here stealing money, but his mom morally doesn't think it's right. Top's philosophy is a bit different. He's like he doesn't want to follow other people's rules. It's like a kill or be killed kind of situation. Survival of the fittest is how he kind of lives his life now. We see him go delve more into this philosophy whilst he's hunting some animals, and he's basically saying it's the survival of the fittest. If you're strong, then you're hunted. You're hunted, and losers don't have the right to complain in this world. But Fugo shows up and just tells him that's because you've never become the hunted. You've never been in the situation of the weak. And I guess she's about to show him what that is because she pulls out the piece, bro, and just starts blasting. So Fuko takes a shot at a tree, just to blast a chunk off. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is. Probably setting up a bit of unlock. But yeah, then we go into the next page and Top's just zipping around, speeding about, and Fuko's just standing there calm. Kind of that scene with Luffy and Bellamy, really. But yeah, she explained to Top how he talks such a good game, but he telegraphs his movement. So yeah, Fuko's about to show him a few tricks of the trade, teach him a couple lessons. She explains to him it's not, you just can't become the strongest with speed alone. You gotta have technique. You gotta have technique. She goes on to tell him that yeah, his moves are telegraphed. I can read you like a book, basically. I guess he goes in for the hit and she counters. He's quite surprised that she's able to read where he was going, considering he was moving at such a fast speed. But Top ain't too worried. He still says you're on his turf, and that means you get crushed. And Foucault responds that saying he's the rashest, snappiest attitude he's seen yet, and she likes it. She calls it sick. So yeah, that's the end of both chapter reviews. Thank you guys for watching, listening. I'll try and be more consistent. I will put all my energy into it. Give me your energy and help me out with that, please. Anyway, like we're loading up a spirit bomb. But I will speak to you guys soon. See you later.